Good morning, everyone. Are you ready to come on a NASA mission with me? Yes. You're going to fly in the cockpit of a very special, one-of-a-kind airplane, a Boeing 747 that holds a 9-foot diameter infrared telescope and acts as an airborne observatory. This airplane is so special, it has a name. It's called SOFIA, S-O-F-I-A, which is kind of a tongue twister. It stands for Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy. I call it my Starship Sophia because when I fly her, I feel like I'm in an episode of Star Trek. So why did NASA put a telescope in an airplane? Our telescope looks at light in the infrared part of the electromagnetic spectrum. These wavelengths give us a lot of detail about celestial objects, but they get absorbed by the water vapor in the Earth's atmosphere. By putting the telescope in an airplane, we can fly it up above 99% of the water vapor, so the telescope can see things that would be impossible to detect from a ground-based observatory. Most of the year, the airplane takes off and lands in Palmdale, which is in the Mojave Desert north of Los Angeles. But in June and July, we relocate to Christchurch, New Zealand, because that's wintertime in the southern hemisphere, and we can take advantage of their long nights as well as view a whole different part of the sky. So what do you say we fly our mission tonight out of New Zealand? So here we go. I hope you are rested and ready for a 14-hour day and a 10-hour flight. Since we only fly at night, we'll say our takeoff is at 7:30 p.m. So we show up to the hangar at 4:30 in the afternoon to start getting ready for an on-time takeoff. Our crew consists of 15 to 30 folks. That includes 2 pilots, a flight engineer, in-flight mechanics, telescope and equipment operators, mission directors, and astronomers. We all meet together to hold a briefing on tonight's flight. We learn what our flight path is going to be because it's different every night. We get a thorough weather forecast and an update on the maintenance status of the airplane. Then the astronomers describe what they will be studying. They are excited to be on the flight and may have waited for years for the opportunity to do their research project on SOFIA. They come from all over the world, so we will hear many different languages and accents. But even if they are speaking English, I will warn you that they are such high-level specialists in their fields that we still may not understand what they're talking about. They may kind of sound like those botanists. We then head out to the airplane in time to thoroughly pre-flight every system so that we can be ready to start the takeoff roll so that the wheels lift off the ground exactly on time to the minute. We climb up to altitude, open up the door for the telescope, and start observing. The direction of the telescope is controlled by the heading of the airplane, so the mission directors give us precise headings to fly in 1-degree increments. The pilot's job is to cross every turn point within 2 minutes of the flight plan time, so we are constantly adjusting the speed to stay within parameters. During our 10-hour flight, we cover almost 5,000 miles. We will have time in between all the heading and speed adjustments to look out the window and enjoy the night sky. If our flight path starts out heading west, we can chase the sunset and watch the beautiful sky colors for hours. And tonight, since we are flying out of New Zealand, we will have a good chance of seeing the southern lights of the southern aurora, which can dance around us for much of the flight. And always, we can watch the stars, planets and constellations slowly wheel through the sky, and that never gets old. After a long night, once all the observations are made, it's time to close the telescope door and come back for landing, which will be about 5:30 in the morning. Then we will watch the sun come up while we drive back to our hotel and hope to get some sleep so we can come back tomorrow night and do it all again on a new mission. This is what I love about working for NASA, being part of a diverse group of folks working together, each a professional with his or her own skill set, to complete a mission that results in new discoveries that help us understand our universe. I've been flying for almost 40 years, and I've been lucky enough to have some very cool flying jobs, starting with being a pilot in the Air Force and then flying all around the world as a United Airlines pilot. But I think you will agree with me that this is the coolest job yet. It feels just like being in an episode of Star Trek. Thanks for flying with me.